Coming up, Mario Cantone joins Illeana in just a minute.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
And now, it's the I Blame Dennis Hopper podcast, starring Illeana Douglas. Eavesdrop with Illeana as she interviews Hollywood's most prominent players about filmmaking, acting, and what really happens on the set of your favorite flicks and TV shows.
Why, hello, everyone. It is Illeana Douglas. Welcome to the I Blame Dennis Hopper podcast. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Tamara Berg.
Hi, everybody. It's Ricola season.
I feel the weight has shifted. You know, I put on weight over the holidays, of course, because it's Thanksgiving, and there's two cameras. So if I look heavy, I've got two cameras.
We blame it on the cameras.
The camera adds 5 pounds, so I've got two cameras.
I see 3 from where I am. So.
3 cameras, so that's 15 pounds that I'm putting on right now. But I promise I will take it off. To me, the holidays are mainly about going home so I can get material on my mom.
Right?
She's the best.
Was it fruitful this year?
Yes, we have.
Do tell.
She's always so great. Like, you know, if I was in the news, you know, this year, you know, she's like, I'm so proud of your accomplishments this year and everything you've done. But why do you always have to tell people we're poor? And as she's saying that, you know, I'm holding up the refrigerator door and
that's stuck on with duct tape.
Yeah, and the toilet now doesn't have a handle. She's put some sort of piece of wire in it to flush it.
Okay,
and
Mom.
She still reuses the foil, although she hides it from me.
Oh.
That was like a childhood thing. We would have to reuse foil until it just crinkled like
it starts
glitter.
to disintegrate. Yeah, exactly, like glitter.
Be like glitter. And but you know, now my nephew lives with her, and she made us lunches. Mm-hmm. Now my mother, again, she denies she ever said this, but we were so poor that one day my mother yelled up to me, peanut butter or jelly, and she denies saying that, but it's true. She said it. And she would make these sandwiches. She'd make the peanut butter last for like a month. She'd put like a little dot of peanut butter in the middle, and then
peanut butter flavored.
Yeah, and then the whole edge of it would all be dry and everything. But my nephew gets these like they get like takeout food for him, and I'm like,
they've gotten so fancy.
I know,
since you've left.
Actual food for him. She buys snacks for him. Like a snack for us would be a Triscuit, like a Triscuit cracker. I was so embarrassed.
Look at you
my
getting
lunch.
name brand crackers as a child. Wow.
Well, when I was growing up, it was cool to buy lunch. Like you wanted to buy
totally.
lunch.
Yeah.
You didn't want to have a bagged lunch.
No.
That just meant you were lame. But
Yeah,
anyway,
you really wanted that frozen burrito reheated in a microwave from the cafeteria. Yeah.
So we were home, and that was fun. And I get all the Academy movies, and my subscription to Variety all goes to my mom, and she reads Variety voraciously. And she has a great relationship with a UPS guy. He comes and gives her all the Academy movies and signs for them. And then, you know, we watch the movies together and we make all
What'd you see?
Our notes. We saw A Star Is Born.
Yes.
And it was not what I expected.
Okay.
After the big sort of hubbub of it. I'm going to say I'm still voting for the Judy Garland version. Luckily, Mario Cantone is here. He will do. I still think that is my favorite. Mm-hmm. And what else? We watched a very obscure movie with Maggie Gyllenhaal called The Kindergarten Teacher, which I thought was fantastic. And I saw Boy Erased with Nicole Kidman. Oh, yeah. Love that. She's having a good year. And the other movie that I watched that I must talk about, my favorite holiday movie that I watch every year. I mean, some people watch It's a Wonderful Life. Every year I watch Scrooged.
Nice.
Which is the Bill Murray movie.
Yes.
And it's an incredible movie. And for people who haven't seen it in a while, you really have to go back and see it. It's an incredible movie. And it's one of my favorite Bill Murray performances. And the script was written by Mitch Glazer. And we've been trying to get on the show, and
he's the elusive Mitch Glazer.
That's right. Well, he's busy. He's busy working, but they're going to be showing Scrooged at the New Beverly.
Nice.
Around December 19th or 20th, and I am most certainly going to be there because it'll be really fun to see it on the big screen. But anyway, it gave me if you're going to watch it, I'd love to get some insight about it. And they were shooting it in New York City in the summer. Which is incredibly hot.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. And they didn't have an ending.
Yeah.
And so they went, it was like in the deep of the summer, he sat in Michael O'Donnell's apartment on 16th Street, and they tried to write something about Christmas, and they were racking their brains. And then they finally hit upon this truth, which is, I think it's very true, that in New York City on Christmas Eve, it's the one day where suddenly everybody does treat each other really, really well, and that's a miracle. You know, that idea that there is one day, and once they got that moment, they knew they had the ending of the film. Because I thought that's a really great insight into the film. And whenever I meet people who are in the film, like Bobcat Goldthwait and Carol Kane is in the movie. Who else I think Buddy Hackett is in the movie.
Oh my God, I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, you have to re-see it.
Yeah,
again.
I will. I'm making a note with a little star by it.
So mainly when I'm seeing old movies, I'll see a new movie and I'm like, it's okay. But like, I always go back. I go back to the treasure trove of a movie from my past.
Your youth.
Yes. And I did start the Christmas music.
Nice. I did too.
I have to do it.
Yeah.
What do you start with first?
Oh,
what's your first Christmas album?
I don't have one. I put on like a random playlist and
you don't
see
go
what happens.
like Charlie Brown or I start with
that's
Barbara.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
I start with Barbara.
Probably like some, Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole is good. I'm going to get into this with Mario because there was an obscure album that I used to like that was put out by A&P. Again, this would be
the grocery store.
It'd be something my mother would buy because
Yes.
it was on sale for 99 cents
Yes.
at A&P. And there's a Christmas song on it from if in the booth they can maybe find it or something. It's Cary Grant and he's singing and he basically sings.
Sure.
And he just says shalom, kohifai troy. He says all the chin chin, skol, and then in the background there's a chorus going ding dong ding.
Oh
dong,
my God, how weird.
ding, and that used to be my favorite.
Okay.
Bad Christmas music. But anyway, enough of that.
Let's bring Mario.
Enough of the preamble.
on.
Let's get to somebody that I'm obsessed with.
Let's do it.
In a good way. His name, I'm going to give you his credits before he comes in. Our guest is an actor and a comedian. You know him from his work on Broadway, including a Tony nomination for his show Laugh Horror, which is astonishing, and I own a copy of it. Assassins and Love, Valor, Compassion, to his stand-up comedy. You got to go on YouTube and just Google Mario. You'll go down a rabbit hole, and you'll go all the way back to his TV show, Steampipe Alley, which we're going to talk about. His numerous TV appearances, including Sex and the City, Men in Trees, and feature films, Quiz Show, which we're going to talk about. It was barely in Quiz Show. Surfs Up, The Aristocrats. Please welcome, drum roll, Mario Cantone. Hello, Mario. This is so nice of you to do this.
Well, I'm very happy to do it because it's you. And you are obsessed with me, so I have to honor that. First of all, I've
yes.
never seen Scrooge. That's the first thing. How about that?
Scrooge?
Never seen Scrooge.
You're going to die. You're going to love it. You will love
My
it.
favorite. And how about they couldn't figure out the ending? I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Back to the source material.
Indeed.
Yeah, I you know which one I love? I love Scrooge with Albert Finney, the musical that Leslie
Yes.
Bricusse wrote.
Yes, that's a good one, too.
Good one. And Leslie Bricusse, I think, it's hard enough to develop a Broadway musical, but to do it for a film, because you can edit, but you put it on film and there it is. There's no workshopping it really.
Yeah.
You kind of figure it out and you do it. He did Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and he did, which
Yes.
is one of my favorites.
Ah, the best.
Ever. And Scrooge, and even it's not very good, but I was obsessed with it as a kid. Peter O'Toole in the musical of Goodbye, Mr. Chips with
Yes.
Petula Clark when she was singing "London is London." I love that. I love that. I had the album. Why would I be listening to the soundtrack
believe me,
of Goodbye, Mr. Chips, the musical, as a kid? I was really.
I was too. I mean, that's why, like, I don't know why that's why I was so mad. I was somehow stuck in Connecticut. And it's the same thing. I'd be listening to Nancy Wilson's Broadway hits, and like not relating to anyone my own age,
Me neither. I was the only person. I was, in my living room in Stoneham, Massachusetts, listening to the original Broadway cast recording of Applause with Lauren Bacall, which was based on All About Eve. And Lauren Bacall. I knew Lauren Bacall a little bit, and I was obsessed with her.
Yeah.
And I used to go to this Christmas party every year. When she was alive, she was there, and I would sit at her feet and ask her questions. And because if you're around someone like that, you need to ask the questions.
Oh, thank you. Of course.
You know what I mean. I mean,
yes.
There's a whole thing about Shirley MacLaine when she was doing In Her Shoes with Toni Collette and Cameron Diaz, and she was printed in the New York Times, and she was quoted as saying, "These girls don't care that it's me. If I was with me, I would ask questions about my career and my life. They don't care about shit. It's like it's all Justin. She just cares about dodging the paparazzi with Justin Timberland." She actually said Timberland, which was my favorite. She did it on purpose. And she said, but it's true. Jane Fonda said it. It's better to be interested than be interesting. And yes. I really believe that. Ask the questions, because these kids don't give a crap. They don't care anymore. No one cares. You have to explain everything. I just did a month-long workshop of this new musical that's Broadway bound. It was fantastic. And, incredibly talented kids, but they know nothing. They don't know who anybody is. You have to explain who people were like 10 years ago. It's really horrifying.
I know.
It's upsetting.
No, I agree. I'm like you. Every movie is just an excuse of like, how long is it going to be before I'm going to ask them about, some movie. My very quick.
You've worked with millions of people. You've worked with everybody. You ask the questions. I'm sure you're interested. And you look who you're Melvin Douglas. Yeah, like who is he? I know. Do you have to explain that shit? Sorry,
When I met Lauren Bacall, she was in California. When I met Lauren Bacall,
that's right.
I had.
Sorry, I'm doing.
I know, I love it. Do her, jump in anytime. First of all, the first time I met her, it was at the second inauguration of Bill Clinton, and I was in this celebrity contingency, which is already insane. It's like the whole reason I got in show business. I was on a bus with like Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Sidney Poitier, Lauren Bacall, Gina Davis, and me. I'm like Zaylig. Like, how did she get here? But we went into a ladies' room. So all the girls had to use the ladies' room. And Lauren Bacall went up to this woman. She was wearing a fur coat. And she goes, "Get rid of the fur, honey. It's out. It's out. I took all of mine to Goodwill. It's out." So that was Lauren Bacall.
I met her at a Broadway benefit first called Nothing Like a Dame, which was for the Phyllis Newman's Women's Health Initiative, which was part of Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And I was at John's Pizzeria with her, pictures of us in the booth of her caressing my face, and we just hung out all night. And I was talking to her about Harry Guardino that she did Woman of the Year with on Broadway. And she was like, "Oh, Harry." I was like, I said, did he die? She went, "Did he die? He's dead." Like, what? And this one story she told me that I unfortunately cannot tell but it was the best one.
Oh,
it had to do with when she was making what is it? The Mirror Has Two Faces. Is that what it was?
Yes, with
the Barbra Streisand movie.
Yes,
the one that she was robbed the Oscar for.
Yes. Why was she robbed?
She was robbed. She
Yeah.
was robbed. It's because she moved to New York and she's so not Hollywood anymore. She didn't care, but she was gruff. She was gruff even when she was complimenting you, and that's what I loved about her.
Oh
and
my God, I know.
I listened to Applause all the time. Like I was obsessed with that show. When she was like, "I feel twitchy, I'm bitchy, I'm manic. calm and collective and choking with panic but alive. That's the thing, but alive. She was magnificent. What a voice.
Did you think, like I did, that would be? I read all these celebrity autobiographies. Like my life was, all I did was read like Ruth Gordon books, and I read all these books, and I sort of thought, well, that's what your life is going to be. You're going to do this, and you're going to go to Hollywood, and then when you're older, you'll be in a Broadway show, and like Lauren Bacall. Like I believed all this stuff that I read. Did you have that same kind of feeling, even though it was unrealistic? Or
I came up.
You've done
I came
it.
up as an openly gay homosexual in the 80s and 90s, so I was a leper, and you just didn't get work. You didn't. You know, I mean, even at the beginning of my stand-up career, like in the 80s, I didn't say I was gay on stage, but you certainly knew, and I didn't lie. I didn't talk about my blind dates with women either. So, but then, you know, gradually I was like, okay. I mean, but I still didn't do a lot of stuff about my personal life because, and I didn't want to be, you know, the fat comedian that just did fat jokes. I wanted to talk about things that were, I don't know, I guess as original as they could be, and do my impressions and blah blah blah.
Yes.
So, you know, it was a tough thing, you know. And now I'm the old homosexual, so it's kind of over. But you know, it wasn't. I'm not satisfied. I was never satisfied. But you know, did you read American Prince, Tony Curtis's autobiography? Which is fucking magnificent.
Missed that one.
It's magnificent. You gotta read it.
Okay.
It sounds like him, and it's so good. But another one, what a big star he was. Not satisfied. Never satisfied.
Wow.
Not satisfied with any of it. Didn't feel like he got what he wanted, and it was fascinating. And then his book about the making of Some Like It Hot is the most brilliant psychological dissection of Marilyn Monroe you'd ever want to read. It's quite fascinating. Really fascinating. Okay. Those two books are great. They really are. But
thanks for the
Lauren
recommendation.
Bacall did you read Lauren Bacall's biography?
Yes, I
By
have.
myself.
Yes.
That's right, I'm by myself. Now leave me alone. That's what I like. But alcoholics that just love to drink. Ha ha.
Okay. I want to go back. I want to go back. I want to go back and say, so you're back in Massachusetts. Do you remember the first movie you saw, and who took you to see it?
My sister Marion, I think, she just passed away in March. She was 74. She had cancer. She's the reason why I became an actor, because she was at Emerson College in Boston, and which is where I graduated from too. And she, you know, she was acting, and she was an actress. She did cabaret, musical comedy, and in New York at Reno Sweeney's, and the grand finale, and When We Win, and all those old great cabaret rooms that are no longer in existence. But so I, you know, looked up to her and wanted to do that. But she probably took me to see, I guess it had to be Mary Poppins with Julie Andrews. Mm-hmm. And this new one better be good, because I will friggin' kill somebody.
I don't know. I just saw Star is Born.
Yeah, I did too. And, you know, I did like it. Look, I'm the only homosexual that is not a Lady Gaga fan. I think she's got a great set of pipes. Yeah. I don't like the music that she records. I don't care about her hair or poker face. I don't care. But the music she wrote for this movie and the way she sang it, that's the stuff I want to hear her sing. And I thought the musical stuff was magnificent. Yes. I thought it was good. I thought the last 15 minutes, except for the last song, which was great, I didn't like the way the suicide was handled. And of course, there's no comparison. Yeah. It's the Judy Garland one. It's the best one, even though according to Ben Mankiewicz, who I love and adore but want to slap in the face sometimes, loves the Janet Gaynor one better, and we constantly fight about it on Twitter. Yeah, but
I think he's wrong.
I don't think he likes musicals. I can't. You know, I'm obsessed with him. You know, I love him. We text and we've talked, and
I love
we were supposed to get together in New York.
Yeah.
He was like, I told my wife I was gonna, you know, get in touch with you, and I just felt uncomfortable about it because I thought, you know, we were just Twitter friends. I was like, no. I was like, call me. I would love to go out. I want to take him to his first Broadway show, which he's already seen his first Broadway show. And no offense to Bruce Springsteen, I love him, but that's not a Broadway show.
That's right.
That
Wait a
was the
minute.
one and only Broadway show he's ever seen. I said, you're going to lose your job.
Ben has never seen a Broadway show.
That's insane.
Saw Bruce Springsteen. That was his Broadway show. That's the first one he's ever seen. I was like, you are a Mankiewicz. Do not say that in public, even though I've just done it for him. But I love him. You know what I love about him too? And I love Robert Osborne too.
Yeah.
But when Ben talks, first of all, he's funny. You can see the edge there. He has to hold himself back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he just talks to you. You really feel like he's talking to you. I know he's not. He's just a good actor, I guess. But he really talks to you. He talks to you. And I think that's just, I love him. I do. But, he's a guy. He's like a real guy. He's like sports. If someone said to him, okay, you're going to watch the World Series or, All About Eve, he'd be like, the hell with that homo shit. I'm going to watch the World Series. I'm just telling. No, he wouldn't say that. But, he likes sports.
Yes.
He likes the game. But he comes to New York and he invited me to an event that I was out of town for. It was a TCM event, and I couldn't go when he was in New York. I just love him. I could go on and on about him. That's all. I love you, Ben Mankiewicz. I really do.
I can't believe you've never did. You'd be perfect for the TCM cruise.
I don't want to talk about it because I will go down a rabbit hole.
We were.
You know what? They're afraid to have as a host on that because they know, especially as a regular host, which I think I should be. But I know how to rein. When I have to, but I think they're either afraid of and I'm not really a film historian, so but I know plenty about it.
Yeah.
But I would love to, and I talked to some woman there. I don't think she's there anymore, but about doing some spotlight thing, and then they never did it. And that I was going to do the festival at one point and be involved in that, and then I never did that. So TCM, get off your ass and call me because I would do anything for you, and I don't want to do anything. I'm the laziest man in show business. I am.
You don't seem like it.
Lazy. I'm the laziest. I go for months to not working, and then I get a chunk, and then I was very busy the last 3 months. I went from nothing to like Zoom. It was horrifying. And I did it. And I did an episode of a Netflix series. I did this musical for a month and a couple of other readings for Neil Simon's wife, Elaine Joyce. It's for some other possible things. But I'm okay. I'm not. My husband's a workaholic. I am not.
You're not, but you're in the. But you're living in New York. You're in the pocket of Broadway. When I only made it to off Broadway, but once you've been on Broadway, I mean, you can walk into Sardi's or any of these places, and everyone's super nice to you.
Joe Allen. Yes,
Joe Allen.
You can do that. Well, look, that's the only reason why I love being famous and poor and famous. I call myself is because I could call a restaurant and go, I have such entitlement issues. It's appalling. I think I'm a much bigger star than I am, and I'm not. I know the reality of it, but I don't act that way. I do what I want to do. I say no to a lot of things, mostly reality show stuff. I just won't do it. I would rather bake scones and sell it to the young children in the neighborhood that I live in than do a reality show. And I get offered them all the time, and I just say no.
It's interesting because I think that you've had a very interesting career. As I said, when I saw Laugh Horror, that's when I kind of discovered you, even though I was like, I sort of know this guy, but I don't really know where I know him from. But do you find that your own work defines you so well and is so good and so funny that then is it hard to then, when you're doing a project, I'm not putting down Sex and the City, but when you're doing a project and like you said, you have to dial it down. Is that hard?
No, you do. And look, Sex and the City.
You're more interesting than the parts you play, is what I'm saying.
I agree. Well, and also Sex and the City, it was a great part, but it was just splashes of gayness. It was a couple of minutes of me here and there, and that's it. Luckily, though, I did the last 4 seasons, and I got to do both films, which, and supposedly in the last film, which I never read the script for, but I had like a huge storyline. Me and Willie, who plays Stanford, had a big, big storyline, like the most we've ever had. And also the reason being is, for Sex and the City, is I was lucky to be on it. I mean, Michael Patrick King, I knew, who directed and created most of it. He knew me as a stand-up in the 80s at the Improv. We were very, very close back then, and he always loved what I did, and he always kind of came to get me. And the thing is that if you weren't having sex in the storyline with one of those girls, there was no room for as a man on that show. You had 4 leading ladies. You had to do 4 storylines. That's a lot to handle as a writer for him. And there was already a homosexual role on it. There was already a gay role, which really was Stanford from season 1. So the fact that I did that one episode and it became this thing, and it just steamrolled. I only did 12 episodes. It wasn't a lot. It's like Paul Lynde in Bewitched. He only did 17 episodes, but you feel like he was in every, but I only did 12 episodes. And then I got to do both movies. So Michael just included me as much as he possibly could. But that being said, for me, it's just a few minutes here and there. There's nothing really rich about it. He wrote a pilot called A Man's World for NBC in 2011 that with Don Johnson and me that was wonderful. And unfortunately, it didn't get picked up. It almost did, and then it didn't. But he wrote me this amazing role, and it was just deep and rich and glorious. And Don Johnson was magnificent. And it never got shown. So I've had my shots, then I've had a lot of bad luck in this bit. I've had a lot of bad luck. I've had a lot of things fall apart. Things just fall apart. But I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't let it ruin me. I don't. I just keep going. I got my husband, been with him for 27 years. He's a workaholic. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm glad somebody, because you need to keep it going, because I'm done. My drive is dead. Dead drive.
But now what is the story? Because I honestly don't know. Is that I always heard the story that you had turned down the producers. But what is that true?
Well, yeah, I did let him in the night that, and I knew Nathan Lane very, very well, and I love him. I replaced him in Love, Valor, Compassion, my first Broadway show.
Who's somebody I'm obsessed with? One of the most talented, just beyond talent.
I bitch slap him. He's so talented, and he's got a photographic memory. It's insane. He just does things, and he pisses me off. But he's just brilliant, and I love him to death. And I replaced him. And I did let him in the night that Nathan hosted it when Letterman had his open heart surgery. So, and he had different guest hosts. So Nathan said, "I want you to be my comedian." So I had to follow Mel Brooks and Nathan Lane, which was terrifying. But it went really well, and Mel really liked me, and he offered me the role of Carmen Gia and the producer. So I was like, okay, great. I was thrilled. Are you kidding me? I was jumping. So I did the workshop, and it went very well. And, you go into negotiations always make me ill. They make me sick. I get sick during them, and they freak me out, especially when it's a Broadway show. You're going to be doing this 8 times a week. Yeah. So they put it to me, and actually Mel came to see me in an off-Broadway show, went out to dinner with him. We talked a lot. I just love him. And he still loves me and doesn't resent the fact that I didn't do it, because Roger Bart did it and did it brilliantly. But he offered it to me, and they wanted a year, and I couldn't give him a year. I could only do 6 months because I had to leave to do Assassins, which I did on Broadway, but that was in 2001. So they wanted me for a year, which was ridiculous, because I know so many Broadway friends that get 6-month contracts. It made no sense. I was not going to make or break that show. It was all about Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick, who were tremendous in it. So anyway, and you don't know who's telling the truth. It's like, if I had called you, I said it to the director. If I said I would have done 6 months, would you have accepted that? And she said yes. And you don't know who's
that's true
saying what the truth is. So you just go, okay. So it didn't happen. Then Assassins. This was 2001. So September 11th comes, 2001, and Assassins gets canceled because of the role I was playing, which was Sam Bike, or Bick, as they say in a play. Who tried to hijack a plane and crash it into the White House to kill Nixon. He never got it off the ground, and they shot him in the cockpit, but he did get over the gate and into the plane. So I was the role I was playing. So they canceled it because of that whole thing happened because of 9/11. So I could have done
the producers.
But at that period, also in time, I was doing a lot of Sex in the Cities.
Yeah.
And they were very sporadic and kind of on the fly. And they call you, you go and do it. And when you're a middling name, producers don't let you out of a Broadway show to go do an episode of a television show. They just don't.
Yes.
They just don't. So I would have missed out on all of that. So that's the story of the producers.
I'm fascinated.
I also turned down The Lion King. The Lion King was something I also turned down because I wasn't going to paint my face green and strap a puppet on my ass and sing Hakuna Matata.
Now that story I know because you tell it in one of your in your show.
Yeah, it's in last one. Yeah.
Do you find?
I knew you knew it.
I just want to I want to digress because I know. I mean, I just don't know if people understand how funny you are. I constantly, you know, who the other person I talk about all the time is George Lopez.
Oh.
The old fashioned comedy of storytelling, which is what I grew up with. People like Robert Klein.
He's brilliant.
Who tells
funny. Robert Klein was the reason why I became a comedian.
Oh, really? I love Robert Klein.
And I know him, and we've hung out a little bit here and there, and I love him. And he's the reason why I became a comedian. It was his albums. It was his album, Mind Over Matter, and then Child of the 50s. He was the thing, and Lily Tomlin was the other one, and Craig Russell was the other one. Do you know who Craig Russell was?
I do know who Craig Russell is. Yes.
I was supposed to try to get a play about him done, but it's been years, and we've tried, and it didn't happen. But it was a great play about his life, and I played him. But he was a big influence, and I never did. I did a lot of female impersonations, but I never did the drag because I don't like props and extra things. I just want to do it.
I don't think you need to. Know,
so i.e. the Lion King.
Mm-hmm. So when did
I don't like the shit.
And when did you first start doing the movie? I mean, you run the gamut of your impressions, but when did you first know that you could do like the Judy Liza trio? Well,
the Judy it took a long time to actually do on stage because I was like, look, I'm doing Betty Davis and doing Julia Child. I'm gay enough and my career is over as it is. So, just shut up. Don't do Judy Garland. And then my friend Louis Ferranda, who was the talent coordinator at Catch a Rising Star, was like, just go do Judy. And I would get up and I would do her. So and Liza came a little later. Liza actually came after Judy. I didn't do Liza Minnelli until I met her. And that's when I went, oh, this is what it is. And it just kind of clicked.
That's what you got the nuances, the way she talks about her dad, and it was so much like that movie, That's Entertainment. Like I still watch that movie, and I remember growing up and seeing That's Entertainment, and didn't you always think like, oh, well, there's Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly, but there'll be people that are better than them that will follow these people. And as you watch the movie now, you go, no, there weren't. That was it.
I have to tell you the truth. I think when I watched that, as a kid, I was just like, there's nobody this good anymore. I was saying it back then. I was jaded at 12. Yeah. There's nobody this good. No, I mean, yeah. And then, I thought Liza Minnelli was that good. Her mother was the greatest, but, I thought Liza Minnelli was that good. And there's certain people that, this Meryl Streep and there's Robert De Niro, as you know, and there's, one of my favorite movies is
what?
And the one that Mr. Scorsese is always apologizing for, and I know how messed up they all were during it too because I've read all about it. But it's New York, New York. Oh. I think it's gorgeous.
When we met, I used to tease Marty. I said, it's so funny that we're dating because I was actually obsessed more with Liza Minnelli than with you. I love New York. I mean, I used to love that movie.
It's a great movie, and I love that they re-released it with, because they cut it before they released it originally, and they released it with happy endings and a few other scenes.
Yeah,
and yes, it's a little flawed here and there, but mostly it's gorgeous, and the fact that he had Boris Levin design those sets, and it was Boris Levin. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Who did?
Yeah, it was Boris Levin.
And just the darkness of the story juxtaposed up against those 1940s fake sets, those trees and the fake snow, and Mr. De Niro was never more beautiful in a motion picture. I mean, he is so glamorous and beautiful, and he plays jealousy from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. And it's the best. I think she's even better in that than she is in Cabaret. Because Cabaret is a very decadent role, and she's got the fingernails, and she's doing things, and she's, and she's great in that.
Yeah.
But she kind of a normal singer.
And it ends with New York. It ends with New York, New York.
And it's great.
Well, now we're going to, in addition to watching Scrooge, you make me want to see. I actually saw the movie when it first came out. I remember going to see it. And then literally a week later seeing it with it cut. It's going, wait a minute.
With the cut. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they cut it. They cut that thing up. I think I saw it a few weeks later when it was cut. So I didn't see it until they re-released it. And I remember when it was re-released, it got like much better reviews with the uncut version did. It's just, it's so good. And that happy ending sequence is stunning. I love that movie. I love it. And I don't know. I asked Miss Minnelli one time, I said, who is it based on? Do you know who? And she said, I think it's based on Pappy and his wife. Pappy was my drummer. And it was actually her mother's drummer also. Bill Livornia. They called him Pappy. So she said it was, but that I heard it was based on a little bit of Doris Day. Yes. She was always involved with some musician that used to beat the crap out of her when she was young.
Marty
stole her money.
Yeah, Marty told me it was based a lot on Doris Day.
It is, right?
I
wasn't talking out of my ass. I knew it.
I know. You were right. You were right.
Defying me when I say that. People are defying me. What else do you want to talk about? Let me give you my back.
I'm trying. You, like I, are a fan of the Christmas music albums, aren't you? Right? Did you?
Yes.
They're the best, aren't? Do you like the crazy? Do you know? I'm going to go so obscure with the Cary Grant. Do you know about the A&P?
Yeah, I know. I don't know that A&P.
Oh my God, you're going to
record Cary Grant. No. What does he sing? What does he speak sing?
He sings. All I know is there's a chorus in the background going ding dong ding, and he's going like, "Greetings this holiday," and then all he does is say. And my friends, I used to always joke like, "What did they have him in the studio for 10 minutes?" And he was like, "I refuse to sing a Christmas song. I'll just say a few cheery things," but he says shalom and Kohifai Choi and have a good year.
Look how inclusive he was. He'd be perfect for today's stars. He really would be. He's perfect. I love Cary Grant. He was beautiful and great and brilliant. His biography. It wasn't an autobiography, but Mark Elliott wrote a really good biography about him, and you really feel like you're there. The history and just the period of time that he talks about in the 30s and the 40s and where he came from. It's a great book. I like Cary Grant. But as far as Christmas music goes, who do I like? I love Ella's Christmas album, Ella Fitzgerald.
That's very good.
I love Frank Sinatra's "A Swingin' Christmas" is pretty great.
He's great. And what did you think of? I'm setting you up here with your Bob Dylan. Your Bob Dylan. There it is. There's the "A Very Merry Christmas" album.
Yeah.
She found it.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
But I heard
I heard it, I couldn't believe it.
I heard you doing Bob Dylan's Christmas. It was pretty wacky, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was because he, it's beautifully orchestrated, and there's, French horns and harps and angels singing backup, and then he's like, he gives it a go, he gives it a go, I couldn't believe it. Come, they told me. Oh my God. What? Do you hear what I hear? Apparently not.
What would can you do Shelley Winters doing a Christmas album?
I can't sing, but I used to look like Marilyn Monroe. I gave her my look. I gave Marilyn Monroe my look. I did. Bob De Niro, Al Pacino.
See, that's all she.
Well, my friends, we had Thanksgiving together.
When I was... Oh, you're the best. Keep going.
What, Illeana Douglas? Who the hell are you? I don't know who the hell you are. Illeana Douglas? I knew Melvin, but who the hell are you?
You were in The Tenant with with Melvin, actually.
Right, Polanski's film. I've never seen that movie. Is it good? It's scary, right? It's
Oh
weird
God,
and
it's
creepy.
terrifying. It's terrifying. But yeah, when we were on the set of Goodfellas, Marty would always ask me to do. I do a terrible Shelley Winters, but you got it. You nailed it. It's just
Why
like,
don't you? I want it. I'll be the judge of that. Let me hear it.
it was the same thing. She would always touch her pearls. She'd go on the talk show and like rub her.
She would.
She would always do this. Like these enormous. I taught Marilyn to be sexy. And the same thing. And I taught Bobby, and Bobby, we were at the studio, and Bobby and I, it was the same thing. She would just, so because De Niro was there, they would always, Marty would say, do your Shelley for Robert De Niro, which was like much scarier than anything I had to do in Cape Fear. But he was a really good laugher. They all were. They would all, they would all.
My friend.
Oh, they found Cary Grant.
And here's to you.
Yeah.
Chin chin, my friend. And Dean Skull, too. L'autre santé. All life through.
It's only like 2 minutes long.
Well, I'll send it to you,
Really,
Mark.
that's a close second to William Shatner's album.
It
It is. That's the but no, she would always talk about when she was beautiful, but she was with Tony Franciosa and Vittorio Gassman. I mean,
I said I had sex with everybody. Tony Franciosa.
Burt Lancaster. She was with Burt Lancaster.
I had sex with him. Kirk Douglas. Tony Curtis rejected me. He hated me. He said I was a loudmouth. Not true. But I just sex with everybody. Laura Bacall, her too. She had a very large penis.
Is there what are some of the movie is there anyone obscure that you like in the movies? Like I always, Marty was obsessed with an actor named Dan Duryea. Do you know who Dan Duryea was? He always played bad guys. I like Wendell Corey. I mean, are there weird character actors that you like?
Yeah, let's see. That's a good question. See, now that you put me on the spot, I'm like, who? I don't know. Yeah, I bet. Well, I liked Anne Revere.
Yes, Anne Revere. That's a good one.
I liked her. I thought she played. Yeah, I liked her a lot. Who was the woman that? And I like Marjorie Main. I thought she was pretty. Who else did I liked? Who played Mrs. Danvers and Rebecca?
Oh, that was Judith Anderson. I love "Come to the Window," she was a good one.
Don't go in the room. I loved her. I thought she was pretty great.
Yeah.
I liked her. Yeah, there's that guy in the gangster movies. I'm forgetting his name. What was his name? Alan something. See, this is why I never work for TCM because I'm not good on the fly.
But they would have the prompter there. But I miss. So
when everything's written, I know all about it. I know all about the greasy wheels of that company.
But you could do all of those. Well, you've mentioned meeting Lauren Bacall. I know I'm supposed to be wrapping up here, but I can't. It's too much fun to talk to you.
We still have a little more time.
I was a guest programmer on TCM once with Mr. Osborne, and he made me do my Judy Garland for him, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. What were you saying? I
was going to lead to my next thing, which was, I interviewed Rich Little on the show. He's in this documentary, which is about the making of, which is really, I forgot to mention this one that I saw. Very interesting about Orson Welles making this movie called The Other Side of the Wind. Yeah. And he had
I know. Did you watch the movie itself yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I'm about to. Have you seen it?
I've got to see both of them. There's so much stuff I have to watch. I can't take it anymore. It's too much stuff, too much content.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot. That's why I always go back to the classics, the ones I want to.
I want to ask you a question.
Sure, honey. Go ahead.
Did you have fun with Carol Burnett?
Oh my God. I mean, she's again, I idolized her. I know.
That's awesome.
when I was interviewing her again, people were looking at me like, as I'm saying, well, in 1959, I mean, that means Judy Holliday was doing, this, and Ethel Merman was here. People are looking at me like, how do you know all this stuff? I was like, I've spent my life like waiting,
No.
Because it was like she was on Broadway at the same time that Gypsy and, worked with Jack Parr and got her start. I'm sorry, not Jack Parr. What am I saying? I'm blanking.
Gary.
Gary
what
Owen.
was his name?
Gary Owen.
Who was it? Say that again.
Gary Owen. Gary.
No, Gary. No, but not Gary Owens. It was. Oh God, this is ridiculous. See what happens when you get older. It's freaking awful.
Gary
it was
Moore.
that
Gary Moore.
That did sketch comedy.
Gary Moore. That's the
Gary Moore.
Finally.
But when you mentioned,
Yes.
I found this very interesting. When
What?
you mentioned, you were talking about Madeline Kahn, who I knew a little bit, and just
you did?
thought she was the most. Yeah, I did a workshop of a musical, a Jerry Herman musical called Dear World, and it was with Cheetah Rivera, Madeline Kahn, Michael C. Hall, Audra McDonald, Alfred Molina, and I played the deaf mute. That's how bad I wanted to be in the room. And I just would sit down next to her and be like, "Hi, genius," and she told me she was originally from Revere, Massachusetts, which was where my cousin was killed in 1979 because he was in the mafia. And I was like, she was like, "I'm from a little town, you won't know it, in Massachusetts." I said, "What?" She said, "Revere." I was like, "Revere?" She goes, "But I only lived there for 4 years, and then we moved to New York because my mother wanted to be an actress, and she never made it, and Miss Khan did make it."
Yeah.
But and then after she passed away, I remember calling her, just invited her to see me headline at Caroline's, and I think she was ill at the time, but she was so sweet. And then afterwards, every year at Caroline's, they did the ovarian cancer benefit in her name, and I would do it every year. And her husband John would ask me to do it, and he's such a lovely guy. But I loved Madeline Kahn. But anyway, when you were talking about, I always go off. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You mentioned that she was fired from MAME because Lucy, didn't want another beautiful redhead on the set.
Yeah.
And that's true. And Carol probably knew that, but she seemed very taken back. And she kind of shut down about it because she loved Lucy.
Yeah.
They were very close. But it was just a really interesting, uncomfortable moment that happened between you two.
Well, you always have to go for it in my folksy
Oh,
way. You always have to, it was interesting when I was interviewing Jane Fonda, I mentioned Sidney Pollack, and same thing, this weird stare. And I was like, why does she not want to talk about Sidney Pollack? But I went back, you go to the well, you try to, get as many, stories as possible. But somebody like Carol Burnett, I mean, she's so influential. And again, it sounds corny, but triple threat. She's a triple threat.
Oh, brilliant. A terrific, great singer too, even though she never thought she was, but she really was. She does a version of I'm Still Here from Follies when they did that benefit concert in the 80s, and she kills it. She does. It's my favorite version.
She does a great version. I mentioned it of the Not Getting Married, which is really where she acts it out, and it's very funny.
Wow. I saw her at the Metropolitan Opera when I did a benefit, where she came out and sang. It was one of the very first AIDS benefits in the 80s, and she came out and sang In the Meanwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, unbelievable. She was great. She's really great.
And she was also a wonderful actor.
I also like Michael McDonald's Christmas album. That's the other Christmas album I like.
Okay.
And Peggy Lee's.
Oh, what is
I love Peggy Lee.
Peggy Lee is another one, going back to Doris Day, that had kind of a rough,
Oh, God. Yeah.
all those girl singers. I remember
all the girls that travel with those bands, it was like,
Rosemary Clooney. It was tough for them. Tough
I bet it was.
existence.
You were the only girl there, and they were around all these, horny men with horns on buses.
Horny men with horns. Is that the name of your next show? Horny men with horns.
It is. No, the new one-man show is ready to go. It's been ready since 2012, and I've have producers, and then it falls apart, and then you get other producers. Now I have some other producers trying to raise money, and I'm just waiting for this one to fall apart too. And then there's the daunting task of actually doing it. And
Night
at this
after
point,
night.
it's exhausting because I'm doing a musical pretty much. I mean, this one is heavy on the music. I mean, it's a lot more of the same thing, but all new material
Yes.
but it's a lot of music, and it's rough. It's all you worry about is your voice, and they want you to do 8 shows a week. It's like, can we do 6? Elaine Stritch did 5. I know she was maybe 15 years older than me, but I'm close. It's not easy. You just worry about the boche.
Will you come out wearing a white T-shirt and tights like Elaine Stritch?
Exactly.
Didn't you think that was genius to totally rip off Judy Garland? Did anyone understand that she was doing Judy Garland in A Star Is Born?
Probably. I mean, I certainly did. I mean, I saw her one woman show. It was great. We did a couple of benefits together. She didn't like me. She was very nice to me. She was not nice. When I met her as a fan, she was nice. But when I worked with her, she wasn't very nice. But, what are you going to do? Yeah. You can't love everybody. And, just because someone is dead, I can't, sanctify that. I don't do that. I tell the truth about what my experience was.
Can't you say,
I have to.
Can't you say like a code word, like she was a tough lady or something?
No.
It was like, Debbie Reynolds used to say about Gene Kelly, she'd go, he was a taskmaster. The way she'd say, that used to be like code for,
we didn't get along.
For tough, like he was tough.
Yeah, I bet he was tough. But, he directed another movie that I love that everybody hates, Hello, Dolly.
Oh, yeah, Hello, Dolly. Yeah. Well, he also didn't he do A Guide to the Married Man, which is not,
Oh, gosh. Wow.
That's one of my favorite bad movies. Robert Morris.
I've never seen the movie.
Oh, I've seen every movie that Robert Morris, like, again, when I was, talking to you, like, who are people you're obsessed with? Again,
I love Robert Morris too.
Like, I'm obsessed with Robert Morris. Obsessed. I was so happy when he got on Mad Men. And that's how I feel about you. Like, I'm so happy when good things happen to people that you love. And I think that you have that fan support. I feel like I have it too, where people like, sustain you and keep you famous because they love you so much, They
do. They keep, and I have people in the business that are such champions sometimes, and they always come and get me and go, come on, let's do this. And Alec Baldwin is one of them. I adore him. He's very good to me. And it's and Michael Patrick King and Joe Mantello, and there are people. And
you're always on The View too. I love when you come on The View.
I'm not doing it more. It's been a couple of years. It's been, the last time I did it was Election Day. So it's been that long. It's got, the thing with that show is, I did it for like 19 years off and on. But a lot. Yeah. And they used to have, segments where I'd come out the night after the Oscars and I would rip apart moments in the show. And the Emmys my favorite were the daytime Emmys because no one knew anybody. It was just great. And you could be really mean. And they don't do segments like that. And I used to do musical segments and I co-host and now it's just completely political, and that's the path they chose, and that's what it is now. So that's why I don't really do it anymore. But you know what? I had a great run with that too. And that did a lot for me. And when Bill Getty was there for all those years, and Barbara, they were really great to me. They really, really were. And they were the big champions. They fought for me a lot, and they were great. And then when Bill Wolf took over, he was only there for a year, but he was another one that had me on all the time, and then it ended. But things come to an end, and that's okay. You just have to kind of move forward and keep going and do what you got to do. It's like I was going to say I used to worry a lot, and I'm like, well, it'll come when it comes. What am I going to do? Gonna be out on the streets? No, I'll be fine. And my husband's got a big job now, which is awesome. Bring home the bacon, Jerry. He's the artistic director of the Village Theater, which is outside of Seattle, and so he's back and forth a lot. So first I wasn't happy about, because I have separation anxiety, and so does he. But this is a theater he's been directing off and on for 12 years, and he became the artistic director, and he's really loving it and having a great time. But he's here a lot, and he's there a lot. He's a Tony voter, so he comes home a lot and we go see shows. I go there. It's a little rough to do this in your friggin' 50s, but it's what threw at me, and what am I going to do? Throw the boy out? I don't think so. So, yeah, been together for 27 years, so it's been a long time.
That's quite a run.
It's amazing.
He's a great guy. He's a good, solid guy, and he's so smart. He wrote all the original music for Laugh War. He wrote the Garland stuff and the Liza Minnelli thing and put together the Jim Morrison medley, and he's written some great stuff on my new show. He wrote a great Bruce Springsteen parody that Ben Mankiewicz will love.
Oh my God.
And he wrote me a couple of another Minnelli tune that's hilarious. And so he's very much in my life. He was in the original Once on This Island on Broadway. He was in If Then with Adina Menzel. Last few years ago was the last Broadway show he did. He did the original Five Guys Named Mo. He's been in a lot of Broadway shows and off-Broadway shows. And he's a wonderful actor, gorgeous voice, but he's, always liked directing. So that's what he kind of is doing more now than anything, even though people still ask him to perform and to be in workshops and stuff.
Wow.
But he's a great guy. He's a good one.
Yeah.
But you'll never see a reality show between the two of us because he would never do it. You'd have to get Blair Underwood to play him.
No.
And I am not going to make my mentally ill family famous. That's the whole other reason. And then who the hell wants to do shit? I don't want to do that crap. No, thank you. Yeah. Poison. Yeah. It's poison flowing through the airwaves.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Please, yeah, I'm so glad. Just do what you're doing. It's great. And,
I'm doing what I'm doing. It's okay.
And you're going to watch, I'm going to get those books by Tony Curtis and watch Scrooged. It's the 30th anniversary of Scrooged tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
All right.
I swear to God, you will be so impressed. It's really,
all right.
You look back on movies in the 90s that we thought weren't very good, and you watch them and you're like, this movie is brilliant. Like any movie. Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
And
it's funny.
Love Carol too. I love Carol. I think I work with her a lot in celebrity autobiography. So which by the way, celebrity autobiography is doing 3 nights on Broadway. We just did the first one, November 26th. And then we're doing 2 more, December 10th and December 17th. It's at the Marquee Theater. And it's the next one is me and Rachel Dratch and Alec Baldwin and Cicely Strong from Saturday Night Live. And it's a lot of fun. And it really works on the big stage, which is,
yes.
Who knew?
No, those are fun shows. Eugene Pack.
That's how I met you. That's how I met you in passing.
In passing backstage, I remember we had so much fun doing that show.
We did.
Maybe they'll have me back someday.
Mario, anything else coming out that we can see you in that you want to talk about?
What else?
That's right now.
Okay.
What are you gonna do after you hang up? Are you gonna go eat or get a bite?
Right now, I probably will get something to eat in a little bit. I might go out with a friend of mine,
Nice.
my friend David, my heterosexual friend David, who owns a fantastic bar here called Bathtub Gin, and another one called the 18th Room that has cocktails by Joseph Borowski, who's brilliant. And I bake banana bread for the coffee shop that is the storefront to Bathtub Gin, Stone Street Coffee. I actually bake banana bread, not all the time, but I bake it, and
Would you ever?
And you really do make scones, don't you?
I do. I make great scones. I make great Southern biscuits. I can bake. I make the best sweet potato pie a white boy ever could make.
Would you ever be on Celebrity Chopped, which is what I did?
I did. I did.
It's hard.
I did.
It's really
I have
hard.
done
It's fun.
a couple of the shows.
It's good for charity.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I didn't do Chop, but I did. I think it was Beat Bobby Flay. I did a few of those things. But you know what? They're long days.
They are,
and
long.
they don't pay enough.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do. Really, I'm gonna sit there for 5 hours while you cook. No,
it's hard. It's
I have
really
no
hard.
interest. And I don't want to do a cooking show. And I don't want to. They offered me celebrity Big Brother last year. I was like,
No.
and
No,
a lot of
please.
money. I was like, I didn't even engage in negotiation. I am not staying in a house
Yeah.
for 3 weeks with Amorosa.
Well, it's not a
Excellent
house.
decision.
It's a studio anyway. It's not really a.
Really? Do they lock you in a studio like the garage door comes down? Please, never, never. I would rather stick needles in my colon. Never.
So we've learned some things about Mario today.
I know.
We've learned about where the line is with you, haven't
Mario, are you Sicilian or Italian?
Well, that's why I don't. I do say no to. I mean, I'm offered the stuff that I don't want, and I want the stuff that I can't get. So I just do what comes to me that I really want to do.
I mean, I think it's really important to be choosy.
I asked you if you were Italian or Sicilian.
I am. My father was Sicilian, both. My father's Sicilian. He was from Sciacca, Sicily, which is in the south coast. It's about 15 minutes west of Agrigento. And then my mother's family was from Avellino, which is outside of, it's a mentally ill mountain town just outside of Naples.
Yes.
They're all crazy there.
I want to look that up. Some of my people are from a mountain region also called Acciatura.
Is it north or south, middle, where?
I don't know. It's on the mountain. I don't know. It's in the instep of the boot, something like that. Have you seen the Kelly Ripa?
You're obscure character actors from the 40s, but you don't know where the hell you're from.
It's called Basilicata or something. That's all I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Matera.
Why don't you say Bob? All right. What's the Italian name in the family though? Is it your mother?
Yes, Scavetta is the name.
Oh,
Scavetta.
Okay.
There's a few. Scavetta, Labati is one. Passy.
How old is your mom?
My mom, I can't tell her age, but she's
she's still around because my mother died when I was.
But she's still
21.
around. Yes, she's
she's
still around, and she's so Italian.
Young. So everyone I love that she's still around and she's still cooking and she's still saying, "Stop telling everybody we were poor."
She's so funny, so Italian. And my grandmother was a whole nother story. My grandmother lived with me because she used to fight with her sister all the time, and then because both their husbands were dead. She pushed me down and threw the keys at me. Like they tell it. You know how Italians tell a story. You're like, what's the story here? There is no. You were like, wait a minute. She pushed me and threw the keys down, and you never really go. But what happened before that? You never really.
And because I also get this a lot from the cousins. So what was that movie with that actor that was blonde? That was, he was funny and he was blonde. And he was in that movie. What are you talking about? That movie that had that other guy in it, the big guy with the longer hair, brown hair. He had a lot of big eyebrows. I'm like, this is vague. You need to get to the point because I don't know what the frig you're talking about.
I hope all of this is going to be in your show. All right.
So you can find Mario on Twitter at MACATONE, and his website is mariocantone.com, and you can watch him have Twitter wars with Ben Mankiewicz.
And how's Scaramucci? How's Scaramucci doing? He follows both of us. He's the same.
I know he does.
It's all an act, right?
Everyone was acted like, somebody died when he got fired because, I'm so bad, I'm so sorry. It's like, you kidding me? First of all, I do a character that I've been doing for a long time. This tough Italian guy used to be named Angelo, that I talk to a woman in the front row with her husband and I improvise with them. It's part of the new show. So I've been doing the tough Italian thing forever, as you saw in Quiz Show.
Yes.
So all of a sudden Scaramucci comes along and that's my association with that. And it's like, I was so happy it was over in 2 weeks because the last thing I wanted was to go on stage and have people yelling out, do Scaramucci. Luckily 2 weeks it's over. People forget like that, which is good. So when I do that character now, they won't go, they won't say, it's Scaramucci. It's not. So I'm really happy it ended quickly.
Yes.
I really
Good.
Yes.
And my career does not depend on Scaramucci. It certainly gave it a lovely, burst of exposure again. But at the same time, people don't know. People are like, you should be doing that on Saturday Night Live. I'm never going to do that on Saturday Night Live. I'm not part of that clique. I'm not part of that world. It's never going to happen. And no one tells Lorne Michaels who to cast, no matter how strong the Twitter wave is with it or how viral it is. And so when Anthony Atamanuik asked me to do it on the President Show, I was like, yeah, for sure. And his mother Anthony's mother, who plays Trump, his mother was my dance teacher, and she choreographed West Side Story at Emerson College.
Oh my gosh.
It's all,
Association. Her first cousin, Anthony Russo, was killed with my cousin, Tommy Saracola, on Revere Beach Parkway in 1979. And Anthony had nothing to do with it. He was an innocent bystander. He was just there, and that's why they killed him. But yeah, how about that?
oh my God. I know
Very strange.
the Italians, who can't.
Yeah, you people scare me.
I know. It's all going to be.
My father owned a restaurant, and he was a bookie. He was not a, hitman or anything crazy like that. He was just, he was a bookie, and he was like a, kind of a second tier bookie.
Okay, now you sound like my relatives. They go, "We was a low level. He had nothing. He just drove the truck. He just drove the truck. That's what my family. Now you sound like my family. He wasn't in the. He was low level. Like he went to prison. It wasn't his fault. He just happened to be there.
Innocent.
The bookie took bets. Big deal. He didn't kill. He didn't hurt anybody.
My grandmother. They were nice. They gave us a quarter to go to the movies. They were nice.
Oh my God.
He didn't do anything wrong. No one got hurt.
Mario.
All right.
We've
Thank
taken
you,
enough time.
Mario. Friends,
adore
just want to
you.
remind you, you can buy Illeana's book, I Blame Dennis Hopper, out
Yes.
in paperback and at Amazon. It's a great read. You should buy it. Also, like our
Quickly.
page on Facebook, and our website is illeanaspodcast.com.
Yes, and as I always say, everyone's life is a movie with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Today was really a movie because I adore you, and thank you so much for doing this.
so much.
Continued success to you, my friend.
Come to New York. Let me know when you're here, will you?
I will. Thank God that you are around, and the ability to make people laugh is a true gift in this day and age. And to tap into family humor, I really think is my highest respects to you, because that's the best. That's what everybody can relate, no matter who you are or what your political background. Everybody can relate to family humor. I really think it's the best. So God bless you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Mario.
Bye, honey.
Bye.
From producers
Bye.
Maria Menounos, Kevin
Bye.
Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.